career. He just kind of stays at home, keeps his head down, tries to avoid the spotlight, doesn't want to give Trump or anybody in Congress any justification for going after him, and essentially vanishes. But Donald Trump can't let this go. Jack Smith is the person who represents what Donald Trump thinks is this big, grand persecution against him. It's the whole rationale and the energy behind his re-election campaign and his drive for vengeance against his enemies. So Trump keeps picking at it, going on Truth Social, accusing Jack Smith of being deranged. This is one of the burning issues for him. And let me tell you, there are a lot of to talk about this again and think that this is a big mistake as they head into the midterms, and frankly think that it's a self-destructive impulse on the part of President Trump's, that he insisted on it, and ultimately that is why Jack Smith testified in public today. Trump presumed that this would be a great opportunity to attack him, and perhaps Smith would make a mistake in the course of his testimony that would warrant what Trump wanted most of all, which is a criminal prosecution of Jack Smith. But Smith wasn't the only one incurring risks here. House Republicans were very concerned about giving him a public forum to make the case against Trump because Smith is the best informed, the most disciplined, and most credible accuser Trump has really ever faced.
Well, then, with all that into the actual hearing room on Thursday morning.
He gets sworn in, and a few minutes later, he begins to deliver his opening statement.
Chairman Jordan, Ranking Member Raskin, members of the committee, thank you for the opportunity to discuss my work as special counsel.
Thank you, Jack Smith.
Nearly 3 decades, I've served as a career prosecutor, both Republican and Democratic administrations.
He starts off by going through his resume.
I am not a politician, and I have no partisan loyalties. My career has been dedicated to serving our country by upholding the rule of law.
He emphasizes that everything he has ever done in his career has been apolitical and not motivated by any partisan animosity.
As I testify before the committee today, I want to be clear. I stand by my decisions as special counsel, including the decision to bring charges against President Trump.
And then he gets to the heart of his argument.
Our investigation developed proof beyond a reasonable doubt that President Trump engaged in criminal activity.
And then he makes the larger point about rule of law.
If asked whether to prosecute a former president based on the same facts today, I would do so regardless of whether that president was a Democrat or a Republican. No one should be above the law in this country, and the law required that he be held to account, so that is what I did.
Thank you, Jack Smith, American hero.
On the facts of these cases would have been to shirk my duties as a prosecutor and as a public servant, of which I had no intention of doing.
That holding Trump accountable, which obviously he was not able to do, was fundamental for ensuring that people in power played by the same rules that all other Americans play by. He's defending the evidence that he collected and his process for collecting that evidence, but he's also defending his decision to prosecute. He's defending the principle upon which the Trump prosecutions were based, that no one is above the law, and that letting Trump off the hook would embolden Trump to violate the law if he ever regained power.
That obviously
And then
came true.
after Smith is done comes the questioning from members of this oversight committee. And I wonder, Glenn, if we can start with the Republicans who are, of course, running this entire thing.
So, Michael, the predicate here is that the Republicans can't prove their one big point, which is that Jack Smith knowingly colluded with the Biden administration to destroy Donald Trump. They don't have any evidence of that. So, in the absence of that kind of information, they're going after smaller elements of Smith's investigation. And a good example of that is
how much money did you spend in the investigating President Trump?
a line of questioning revolved around a recent revelation that the FBI paid informants to examine some of the people in the crowd on January 6th.
We know you gave $20,000 to someone. It just got reported last week. How much more money did you pay confidential people we don't know about, with American tax money, going after the guy we elected president?
with the suggestion, of course, that Smith
And was
had
one
to
of them
pay
Jade
off
Next, John
people
Sullivan, the guy
to
that...
collect dirt on his investigative targets.
My recollection regards the
guy that filmed
$20,000,
it,
which
Insurrection?
was not a payment from me. It was me approving a payment by the FBI to a confidential human source who was reviewing video and photographic.
Who's the source?
I do not know the identity of the source.
How many other payments went to this source
Yeah,
or
but do
other
I know the
sources?
identity of the source for some
The
reason?
most substantial issue the Republicans raised, and the one they spent the most time on at the hearing, was this matter of the toll records, the metadata that Jack Smith and his team obtained on phone conversations between Trump, Trump's team, Rudy Giuliani, and 9 lawmakers on Capitol Hill that Trump was pressuring to overturn the 2020 election.
And Glenn, what makes Smith's efforts to get that data so controversial for these Republicans? And perhaps here you do need to do just a little bit of explaining about what exactly Smith did, how he did it.
So toll records are
Maybe
not
if you can get Trump and Putin.
are just simple records of calls, the duration, the 2 phone numbers involved, the time that they took place. Smith's team asked a federal judge in Washington not to disclose to the targets that he was obtaining this information. The Republicans seized on this to make the point that Smith's team were doing something shady, underhanded, and that they had already concluded that they were going after President Trump.
Mr. Smith, in January of 2023, did you subpoena then Speaker of the House Kevin McCarthy's toll records?
Yes, sir, we did.
2 Republicans from Texas really drove this point home. One of them, Brandon Gill, really put Smith on the hot seat. But an even more extraordinary moment came when Chip Roy, his colleague, asked Smith why Smith's team had obtained his own phone records.
Did you target my records and subpoena my phone toll records?
My understanding is your records were subpoenaed by prosecutors before I became special counsel.
I'm thankful for the great staff who discovered the email where I learned for the first time a few weeks ago that my phone records were indeed targeted.
Not so funny when it happens to you.
Basically, they're asking, did Smith and his staff spy on Republican members of Congress?
Right. This really felt like
Separation of powers.
the one moment where Republicans really had Smith on the defensive.
Glenn, as best you can tell, did this Republican strategy work?
I'll tell you this. Smith's discipline, and that's kind of the hallmark of his management style, really paid off for him. He seemed determined not to give Republicans an inch. But when Democrats questioned
Yeah, boycott the World Cup. That's a good idea.
He was a
Remove
great
the World
deal more
Cup from
expansive.
America. I don't really care about the World Cup, though. I think in America we should boycott the World Cup because they gave Trump that stupid peace prize. We should boycott the World Cup for that reason. But for people coming to America, don't do it because they'll kidnap you. Trump's domestic terrorist squad will kidnap you if you come here for the World Cup. So yeah, definitely boycott the World Cup. But again, they should just move it to another country. Move it to Mexico or something. They like football in Mexico, don't they? Soccer? Don't they like it down there? We don't even like soccer in America. I don't know why the World Cup would be here. Nobody cares about that sport. We care about football and basketball and baseball. Connect. Connected. And I was like, alive.
Colorado Matters is a daily radio.
Mexico is worse. Not that Mexico doesn't have people running around kidnapping people. I guess they.
As somebody
We all love Jack Smith.
Donald Trump's ire.
Your willingness to
But
speak directly to us and
why can't
to
you
the
stop
American
him?
people about your investigation is professional, is courageous, and it's patriotic.
Somebody who was willing to stand up to Donald Trump and hold him accountable. And they were also eager to protect him and to clean up any doubts people might have about his activities. And that
Yeah, there's
was
some
why
bad
they drove
patches
right
for
into
Wi-Fi
this
in the
question
area,
of the toll records
or
and
for
the
wireless
people.
signal.
Right, those phone records.
Jamie Raskin, who was the top Democrat on the committee, jumped in to give Smith the chance to explain himself.
Perfectly lawful what you did. Explain why did you want this program?
Listening to the
To
Jack
make
Smith.
the point that all of this was just standard investigative practice.
In conducting a criminal investigation, securing non-content toll records, as you described, is a common practice in almost
How they
any
say?
complex conspiracy.
Okay, let's go to some.
Right.
Listening to the
And as I recall, Congressman
what is it?
Ted Lieu,
The
another
Daily.
Democrat, basically does the same
I cannot
thing.
stand this
Members of
journalist,
Congress are
but
not above the law, right?
No.
Yeah, that's right. Because we're not.
They wanted to give Smith the chance to rebut all of these Republican accusations and kind of walk Smith through point by point the conduct of his investigation to kind of demystify it. And their other objective was to move the spotlight off of Smith and back onto Donald Trump.
My Republican colleagues keep trying to rewrite history. They claim that somehow Trump's words and actions did not legally rise to the level of criminal activity, that he did not directly cause violence at the Capitol. And so I want to set that record straight with you right now.
And the Democrat who really drove this home was Congresswoman Jayapal from Washington, who essentially
Congresswoman
asked
Jayapal.
Smith to go over his indictment of the president, point by
10
point,
degrees.
by point by point.
Did your investigation find that Donald Trump attempted to manufacture fraudulent slates of presidential electors in 7 states that he lost?
Yes.
Did he pressure state officials to ignore true vote counts in those states?
Yes.
Did he spread lies and conspiracies to his followers to make them believe that the election had been illegally rigged against him?
Yes.
Did he pressure DOJ officials to stop the certification of the election?
He did.
And Jayapal answered question.
thanks, Representative Jayapal.
by
Thanks, Jack
asking
Smith. Thanks,
Smith
everybody stopping
probably
Trump.
the most important question of all.
How
Most
would you
important.
describe the toll on our democracy if we do not hold a president accountable for attempting to steal an election?
What this all means to democracy and the rule of law.
My belief is that if we do not hold the most powerful people in our society to the same standards of the rule of law, it can be catastrophic. It sends a message that those crimes are okay, that our society accepts that. I believe that if we don't call people to account when they commit crimes in this context, it can endanger our election process, it can endanger election workers, and ultimately our democracy.
Yep.
Glenn, it feels like
Thanks, Jack
I
Smith,
should
American
probably
hero.
explain to the listener that neither the Democrats nor Republicans really spend all that much time talking about the second Smith investigation into classified documents kept at Mar-a-Lago. That's in part because of a gag order that a federal judge issued that made it pretty hard for Smith to talk about that case. So it's not like we're deliberately avoiding the subject. The lawmakers themselves avoided it.
Absolutely.
At a certain point, as this hearing is starting to wrap up, President Trump does something kind of dramatic that puts him, in a real sense, in this hearing room.
It was like a real wow moment that really undercut the Republican argument that Smith was totally unjustified in investigating Trump. He goes on Truth Social and he essentially orders Attorney General Pam Bondi to investigate and prosecute Smith. You can't make this stuff up. It's as if Trump himself had elbowed his way into the hearing room to make the point that he wanted these guys to go after Smith even harder.
He said, you look like that soccer player, Ozil.
That
Thank you.
President Trump is live tweeting, I guess you call it truth socially, as we speak. Are you aware of this, about this hearing?
No.
And then a few minutes later, another Democrat gives him a chance to respond to it.
I will not be intimidated. I think these statements are also made as a warning to others what will happen if they stand up.
And Smith basically
I'm glad
says,
you're outraged in the
"It doesn't
UK.
matter to me."
Anybody standing up
We
to
followed
Trump?
the facts and we followed the law, and that process resulted in proof beyond a reasonable doubt that he committed serious crimes. I'm not going to pretend that didn't happen because he's threatening me.
Thanks, Jack Smith. You're an American hero. Yeah, we all hate Trump here. Everybody who
And Mr.
counts
Smith, do you
in
believe
America hates Trump.
that President Trump's Department of Justice will find some way to indict you?
I believe that they will do everything in their power to do that because they've been ordered to by the president.
But yeah, I don't know specifically about what you're saying is the...
As we said, that concludes today's hearing. We thank the witness for appearing.
Fuck you, Jim Jordan, piece of shit, pedo piece of shit.
The hearing is adjourned.
What's your thoughts on Trump's comments
When it
against
ended,
UK and NATO
wonder
troops that's caused
how you were thinking about the two
outrage in the UK?
strategies
We should
of the
all be
Democrats
outraged
and
at Trump.
Republicans and their competing efforts.
Americans are on the
to
side of
these
Europeans
trials,
against Trump and
trial of
Putin and
Jack Smith
Netanyahu.
and the trial of Donald Trump.
It's tough to
Yeah, Trump
do
said he loved the
the
uneducated.
losers thing at congressional hearings, but I'll tell you this. I think Republicans that I talked with...
This is almost
after the
over.
thing ended, don't think that they
we
really
have hope.
succeeded in diminishing Jack Smith's stature or really making the case for prosecuting him. Now, all that stuff might happen anyway, but I get the general sense that Democrats felt very positively about Jack Smith's performance in the spotlight, and Republicans were more meh. Jack Smith is so important to Trump because Trump needs to prove that Jack Smith acted in bad faith, or he can't really justify turning the Justice Department right now into the implement of his vengeance campaign against his enemies.
Yeah, he's hums in this
But the hearing
dismissive
ended
way.
where it started. There isn't any concrete evidence that Jack Smith colluded with the Biden administration or anyone else to go after Trump politically. He may have made a misguided judgment in prosecuting Trump, but that's not what was litigated here. This hearing was about Republicans proving that Jack Smith had done Donald Trump dirty, and it doesn't seem like they were able to accomplish that on Thursday.
Look, they're all liars. This person said, if you're feeling down, just say the N-word really hard, really loud. It's what I do. Hard R and everything. And good luck for you. And stop being racist.
Glenn Thrush covers the Department of Justice for the New York Times.
Okay. Well, that was interesting. I'm going to shut it down. I got to go to work.
DS-01 is a 24-strain 2-in-1 probiotic and prebiotic engineered to survive digestion,
Trump's a traitor.
support healthy regularity, and promote whole body health. Learn more at seed.com/public.
Innovative, immersive, and skillfully investigated. The Daily brings listeners today's stories as
Hopefully
only the
not.
New York Times can
Hopefully I'll
report
never
them.
see you
For
again.
more on today's episode, go to nytimes.com.
Hopefully no one will ever see you again.
The Daily
Bye,
is
y'all.
powered by the journalism of the New York Times and is distributed by
This Michael Barbaro guy, he's always like, in the middle of people saying stuff. Maybe it's like involuntary, but it seems like it's like programmed.
That's it for the Daily.
And he always pauses, like, thinks he's fucking William Shatner Jr. or something. See you on Monday.
This is CPR News.
He usually pauses a lot more
94.1
dramatically than that.
KCFR Denver.
Alright, I'll shut this down before the
1490
Nazis
AM,
finish
KCFC
typing their Nazi
Oakland
stuff.
on HD at